This is Hermes. He'll have his little entered stamp, and he'll be lurking around in silver body paint and winged sandals.
Odysseus has finally found queens.
That's very cool.
And he'll be sweating.
All this week, 2 puppet artists and a team of volunteers are preparing Odysseus at Hellgate, a site-specific piece of performance art which will be done in Socarates Sculpture Park.
Such a tiny little park, but it has so many interesting spots that you can explore. So the viewer essentially is in the position of Odysseus.
As they move around the sculptures, they see stories from the Odyssey recreated by costumed characters and giant puppets.
We didn't want to just do a retelling of the Odyssey. We wanted to tie it in with the history of the islands in the East River.
It's a fascinating process to take an old pre-existing narrative, something that has been part of our culture for centuries, and overlay it on something contemporary and see where the juxtapositions line up.
New York City actually has a lot to do with the Odyssey, as these guys see it. They spent time researching the history of the tiny islands that dot the East River and found a way to weave those stories into the show.
Randall's Island, which was the kind of domain of Robert Moses. That's where his office was for the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority. And that's where he ruled New York from for 50 years. Then you look up this quote on the Cyclops, who is this kind of, he's got the eye in the middle of his forehead, this single-minded purpose. And the description of the Cyclops could have been lifted right out of Robert Caro's Power Broker. I mean, it's almost the same.
Roosevelt Island, which is right out here, you can see it from the park, was, among many other things, the site of the women's workhouse. And the 2 most famous inmates who spent some time there were Mae West and Billie Holiday. And so we thought they would be fantastic sirens.
So every element that comes out will be sort of a fusion of East River history and Homeric myth.